everyone, and welcome back to the EduTalk Pod. On today's episode, we have a very special guest, Alyssa.
Hi, I'm Alyssa. I'm from Hong Chong Institution. I took bio, chem, math, and China studies in Chinese. I was in volleyball, and I'm more commonly known as Yomini on YouTube.
Awesome. Oh, she's also in Gate Bio.
Right. It just means like an advanced bio class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she took H3 Chem for a while. So, like, to start off, I think I want to know, what was your JC life like? Like, what did your daily schedule look like?
So I mean, I'll wake up like around 6 a.m. In
Yeah.
secondary school, I'll wake up at 5 a.m., which is crazy, but I can't do that anymore. So I'll wake up around 6 a.m., I'll head to school around 7, and I'll do like around 1 hour of work, which you'll see a lot in my YouTube video. Then just classes, lunch, classes, and then sometimes I'll have volleyball training, and yeah, then I'll go home. Just about
Wow,
it. But I'll just
intense.
like study in between
Uh-huh.
like lessons and stuff. Yeah.
Wait, how many times was volleyball like per week?
3 times and 1 gym during
Oh, wow.
like seasons. Yeah.
Oh shit. Then like how do you like juggle like CCA and schoolwork?
I mean, I was doing like schoolwork like in the morning and also like in between lessons. So I think like I pretty much completed my homework during those times. And during season there isn't really much exams, so you didn't really need to study for exams. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, wait.
So you're like kind of like a productivity guru, you know. So do you have any like effective study methods or techniques that you can share?
I think I said this a lot on my YouTube channel also, but I mainly use like active recall and spaced repetition. If you don't know, you can watch like Ali Abdal's videos on it. But basically, active recall is like you like trying to remember your content without looking at like the notes and stuff. And spaced repetition is just like looking through the content like a day after, and then a week after, and then a month after. So like you retain the information like more effectively, basically.
Okay, that's cool. So like what apps do you recommend when doing this? And is there like a subject that it's better for and like a subject that it's worse for? Because like in my experience, like I also think that there are some subjects that you have to like practice.
Yeah. Definitely. I use Notion and Google Sheets. Notion for like note taking and stuff, and Google Sheets for like scheduling.
Like different subjects. Like how does it apply to different
so
subjects?
I think bio and China studies is not relevant to most, but yeah, bio and China studies has a lot of content. So yeah, that's like where the bulk of like the active recall goes. But like for stuff like math and chem, it's really a lot of practices instead of like trying to remember the content.
Okay, I see. So like for chem, how do you study?
Oh, I just like drew like a huge mind map for like organic chem. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Do you do like the school tutorials and stuff?
Yeah. I do like almost all the practices. Yeah.
The further
practices are very important, right?
The further practice too.
Yeah.
Oh shit, damn. She good, guys. She good. Okay.
Then how do you set like a realistic timetable for yourself?
Yeah, because you have to juggle so many things too.
Yeah.
So how do you like fit in all this studying while still staying sane and having a CCA and stuff? Do you sleep at night?
Yes, I sleep a lot actually.
Okay, that's good, guys. You must sleep.
Guys, I sleep at 9 p.m.
Awesome. That's good.
Okay, based on experience, because like in Sec 4 I already like started studying a lot. So like I kind of know like how much time I spend on each thing. So I think that's very important in like planning out your schedule. So like you plan like your time realistically, and like you don't give like too little time. If not, like you'll snowball, and then you have a lot of things to do. And then yeah, and I think like sleep is a priority over studying. So like if you're really tired, just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to like miss a few deadlines here and there because it's not graded anyway.
Yeah. Gets. How do you like set a schedule for yourself? Like how do you like what apps do you use and how do you fit your time into the schedule?
So like on Google Sheets, I have another YouTube video on there. On Google Sheets, like I'll write like everything I need to do on that specific day, and then yeah, I just do it.
Oh, nice. So you use Google Sheets. Like, is it like a monthly thing or like a weekly thing?
It's like I believe it's a semester or like a term thing.
So you like have one Google Sheet with like a semester on it.
Yeah.
And then you just like plan what you want to do every day. Every day or like weekly?
Okay, so like basically I'll put like a scheme of work on like Google Sheets so that I know like what we're doing each week. And then after that, like every day, like I'll put what I need to do.
In your opinion, what are some like common misconceptions students have when it comes to studying?
I think like there are two major misconceptions. The first thing is memorization. Like some people think like bio is like full on memorization. So you don't do practices, you just memorize.
Mhm.
The second one is cramming. I think it works for some people, but definitely not all. And in JC it's really hard to cram. So like if you just memorize for bio, you won't like know how to apply anything, which is basically what they're testing in JC. And for cramming, yeah, it just doesn't work.
Instead of cramming, how do you think students should like go about like pacing their time and stuff?
I think like you should definitely start like studying the content way before, which is like where spaced repetition goes. So like basically, okay, like in general, like for my topics, like before like the classes, I'll read the content and everything. Then you go to class, you pay attention, you take notes, and you ask questions to your teachers if you have any doubts. And after that, like maybe like 1 week or whenever you have time, like you just take like notes on the subject like in your own words, so like you really understand it. Yeah.
I see.
Then after that, do homework, do practices, and then after that you revise for your exams. Like same thing. So like you're basically studying it like 5 times, which is like 4 more times more than if
Wow.
you were cramming. Yeah.
Wait, are you like ahead of the school or do you follow like the school's pace?
Sometimes I'm ahead, but like if I'm really busy, then I'm like
Following, just keeping up. Like you just don't lag behind.
Yeah.
I see.
How do you keep yourself motivated? Because every time when I want to get on track, I tell myself I want to do all the things that you do lah. But then I end up never doing it. I just can't bring myself to. So, you know, how do you stay motivated?
Stress. Yeah, I don't know. Like I have like really smart friends who are always ahead of me, so I'm very stressed. And I'm like, okay, I need to catch up.
So it's like peer pressure.
I guess, but like a good way. But I think like the most important thing is like to be disciplined instead of motivated, because you can't always be motivated.
Okay. Wait, why don't you like elaborate more on what it means to be disciplined over motivated? Do you want to do like a distinction between motivation and discipline?
It's like motivation is like, oh, I suddenly have like this strong urge to like study, like I should do well, so like you go and study.
Yeah.
But discipline is like, oh, I really don't feel like studying. Okay, just go. Yeah, basically.
So it's like learning. Okay, it's kind of like building a habit of like studying. Is that what you do? Like build habits, like build good habits.
I guess.
Okay,
Even
I
though
see.
don't
I
really
see.
have, like my routine kind of changes like
Day to day.
every week or so.
Also, oh wow. Okay, yeah. But like you learn to do things when you don't want to do them. Okay. Do you have any tips on how to do that?
Basically, sometimes right, you're in bed.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I really don't want to study. I really need to study, but like I don't want to. So like then you just like count down to like 3, and then you just get up.
Oh,
Yeah, so like you
okay,
don't give
okay.
yourself like a choice to like
To like stay in bed.
Yeah.
Okay. And the more you do it, it like reinforces it and then you are able to do it more. Wow, guys, this is good tips.
Yeah.
I think this segues like nicely into goal setting and stuff. Do you goal set? Do you set goals for yourself?
Like straight A's.
Oh, like you have like
just
wow. Like just now you mentioned that you use like peer pressure to stress you out to study. And I think that that's very good if you're able to use it constructively. But a lot of times it turns very like, you know, competitive and scary. So how do you like manage that? Like do you have any tips?
Oh yeah, so okay, let me give an analogy. So I use like YPT, which is like a study app that tracks like your study hours, right? But then like on YPT there's like a friend group, and all my friends study like insane amounts, like especially during A levels. It's like 12 hours, 10 hours. I have an average of 5 hours, guys. So yeah, what I do like okay, for specifically for YPT, it's just like I don't check the group. So like yeah, I just focus on myself. And okay, in general, I would say like I'm not so negatively like stressed in that way. I think you just need to like know that studying is like your own journey. Sometimes like some people need 10 hours to get A's. Sometimes some people just need 2 hours.
Yeah.
Your study amount doesn't really like reflect like your abilities. And also like just because like maybe you're failing and you're not doing as well as other people, like doesn't mean like you won't eventually do well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like not like getting so caught up in like what your grades are now and seeing like the big picture. Because A levels is quite long.
Yeah,
you know? Like
definitely.
A levels is like pretty far away.
Yeah, and I have one more thing to add. I think like you should only use peer pressure as like a game, like a competitive game. Like,
to make it fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like so like maybe like, oh she did this, like oh I should do this now. Maybe I can do it in a shorter time. But it definitely isn't to like compare yourself, like especially yourself.
Yeah. I think like you mentioned, like, you know, using apps like YPT to compete with your friends to make studying more fun. And I think that there's this like common misconception, or like not a common misconception, but in general, the sensing is that when you're studying, it's like such a chore to do. But I think that it doesn't have to be like that. Studying can be really fun, or like it can be a more enjoyable process. Maybe not really fun, but is there any tips on how to make studying in general just more enjoyable?
Okay, so like the first thing I have is like to make jokes like out of your content. So like for bio, I started making pickup lines. I will not name any, but you can find them on my social media because it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like it makes like your content so much more like fun and less dry. Because, okay, bio is really dry to be honest. But,
Yeah.
The second tip I have is just like to find like fulfillment like every time like you finish studying. Because like, okay, let's face it, studying is a chore.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it can be like, oh wow, I completed 2 hours of studying, good job. Then you reward yourself. And like I think actually like once you get past all like the starting like procrastination and like not understanding it, like after a while, like after you like understand your content and like you're able to do well, like studying is quite rewarding.
Like it feels good to just like check things off your like to-do list. It is fun to be productive sometimes. Yeah.
And
And
I feel like once you get past the initial
it's
fine.
actually like pretty fun. I think for me, one thing I really like to do is like study with my friends. So I like FaceTime my friends and we like study together. And I think that's super fun. And like sharing resources and stuff makes your life so much easier too. And like, yeah, I think if you study with people, it's just more fun. Find nice cafes, then every day study at a new cafe.
That's really expensive.
Yeah, just don't eat. Just don't eat. Just buy like one like latte and then just go to different cafes. Yeah, but your wallet bleed. Yeah. So I think like just now we were talking about using apps like YPT to study like a long period of time, right? Which is kind of needed. But like, okay, I mean it's kind of needed towards A levels, yeah. And how do you have like the endurance to do that? Do you have any tips on like being able to study for long periods of time without maybe getting bored?
Like for one, you can use like study with peers, or like as Lynn said, like studying with friends, because like I feel like that makes you like you're with someone. It's not that.
Yeah.
But I have to add something, like studying with friends is like it's either really good or really bad because you can get distracted.
Yeah, agree.
So usually I can't study with friends except for this one person, which like makes me hit like 9 hours or 7 hours.
Wow.
When I usually
She's good. She's good.
Yeah, that's a good friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So studying with me is just like because they won't talk to you.
And like vibes, right?
Vibes. I think the second thing is like changing your environment, because like if you stay at home and study for like 7 hours, it's like very sian. Yeah, so like you can rotate between like your house, your school, the library, or cafes, but cafes are a bit
expensive. Like trying different cafes.
So
yeah, it's quite good. Yeah.
The third thing is changing the type of work you do, because like you do a whole day of math, very sian. You do a whole day of bio, even more sian. So like I try to like rotate between like arts and like sciences. So like in the morning maybe I'll do like chem, and then in the afternoon I'll do like China studies or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, wait, on that point, do you think when you wake up there's like a specific time that you should do like certain subjects?
No.
Because like for me, right, when I wake up I have like a lot of energy and a lot more focus, so then I do things that I actually like really need to focus on, like math, like things that I can't because if I do math at night I find that I'm super careless. Does that apply to you? Yeah,
I feel like it depends, right? So it depends on what subjects you're good at, I feel.
Yeah, also
so I feel like if you like the subject and you're good at the subject, then you should do it when you're feeling more tired.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like what's the subject and maybe you don't like it as much, you should just get it over with whenever you have the most
I think so.
Okay.
Right? So what are your tips on how to reduce or avoid burnout?
Okay, so like the first thing is like trying to like avoid the burnout, right? So like taking enough breaks, sleeping enough. I love sleeping, by the way. And like not stressing yourself too much. I think that's very important, like to prevent like burning out, because once you burn out, like you have to take a break. So which comes to my second point, which is how to manage a burnout if you actually do break a burnout. Yeah, so the first thing is you have to take a break anyway, because you won't be productive if you try to study when you're burnt out. And the second thing is like during this break, like figure out like what exactly made you burn out. Like maybe it's like putting too much stress or like like having too many commitments that you have to fulfill. So yeah, like taking that time to like really like reflect on yourself, reflect on what you've been doing, and how like you can like tweak your schedule or like your mindset to like really like prevent burnouts in like the future.
Okay, can I like add on? I think before we talk about exactly how to prevent a burnout, we need to talk about like what exactly is burnout. Because in my opinion, I don't think I've ever like been burnt out. Like I've been unmotivated, but I don't know whether that is like burnout. So in your definitions, like the two of you, do you guys want to like talk about what you think burnout is?
For me, it's like okay, like so usually like when I study, I can study in like 1 hour and 2 hour blocks. But like, I know I'm burnt out when like I can't even focus for like 10 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
and like I
yeah.
get like very stressed in the morning. Like I cannot bring myself to like study, even though like I've been so used to it. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like kind of when I know like oh
You're burning out.
yeah.
Yeah. I think like another thing about like burnout is that it's like during A levels is a very long period of time. For like reference, your first A-level paper, if you take like prac and stuff, if you're like doing bio and you have prac, bio or chem, you're to your last like bio MCQ, that's like
2 months about. 1.5
month. No, like 1 month for all the papers, and then your first paper is like your first prac is a few weeks before that. So it's a very long period of time. So I wanted to ask, like, since it's such a long stretch of time, how do you make sure you like stay sane?
Okay, I think the first thing is to know that like you're a person before you're a student.
Yeah.
So like yeah, like you have to like take your breaks. You have to go out with your friends. You can't like just devote your entire life to study. Like if you started like studying consistently before that, like you don't have to like spend your entire life studying like during that 1.5 months. So yeah, I think it's like really important to like go out and relax. So like you stay sane. Like your whole day isn't just
Studying, like take frequent breaks. Okay.
And I used a lot of TikTok and I watched a lot of K-dramas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think you don't exactly have to like give them up if you can like control yourself.
Like it doesn't have to be very extreme. Yeah. So like I think when you're like studying and stuff, sometimes you study for a long period of time, but it doesn't really help because you're not being productive in that time. Like I think a lot of students, they take notes a lot, but it might not be very like productive, helpful notes. So in your opinion, what's the best way to take productive notes that you can read and you know you're actually like that like saves time?
Okay, so like it depends on like the subject. For example, like for content heavy subjects that require like a lot of regurgitation like bio, so like I'll look at like the syllabus, like you know on the first page of your bio notes you have like all the learning outcomes. So I'll just like copy and paste that into like my notes. I use laptop because no one can write notes and you watch it. So I'll like copy paste that into like my notes, and then after that you read through your notes, and then you kind of like process the content. Then after that you group like your content into like questions. So like on Notion there's this thing called like toggle.
The triangle thing, right? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So like I'll like put like the questions on toggles, and then like inside the toggle under the toggle like then you have your content, and like you try to group your content into like phrase your content in like the way you would like answering a question in the exam. So yeah, that's like how I kind of like write it.
Oh, for like all the topics.
Yeah. Basically.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes like especially when you're doing practices, like you see like very common questions or like very like interesting questions that like the answering technique is like pretty weird. And then I'll like paste those questions into like the same notes. So like you kind of know how to question.
Wow, that's very smart. That's like juggling both like content and like practicing questions into one note. Wow, that's so insightful.
And like for like more application like topics, subjects, like math and chem, I'll like put like a whole like Google Doc or like spreadsheet which has like the type of question and like how to answer them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, especially like for math, right? There's like a lot of like similar questions and different like numbers and stuff. So like you kind of like tell yourself, oh, like the answering steps to it.
It's like a guide.
Yeah, basically.
Oh wow. And then you learn from the guide instead of like, oh, that sounds very interesting. Definitely not what I did, but it sounds very productive. So do you think that like by doing that, you know, you pace yourself out very well? Towards the end, you were saying you can study like 5 hours and that was like sufficient and you can get like good amount of sleep. Do you think like pacing yourself out like that helped a lot?
Yeah, I think so, because like I mean I was like studying 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like while people like spend the
Study productively. Yeah, it's like study productively over studying like long periods of time and it
Yeah.
not being productive. Yeah. Okay.
How do you manage stress or anxiety in JC in terms of your academics? And how do you, I mean, do you face like imposter syndrome? And if so, like, how do you deal with that?
Actually, I wrote this in my uni application essay. Yeah, but okay, I face like semi-imposter syndrome, like in like one of my subjects, which is China Studies and Chinese. Because basically, like I was a bicultural studies program scholar, so like I had to take the subject. And like basically, everyone in there were like from China, or like their parents are from China, so like their Chinese is really good. And like I stepped into the lesson, and it was like so much Chinese, and I couldn't understand what was going on. So like yeah, I did like pretty badly for like my first exam. Yeah, and I was like, wow, how do I
Like you did not expect it.
Yeah,
I think
like-
as someone like who's gone through like Nanyang and stuff, did you like fail a lot in Nanyang, or were you like was it always like a breeze until you?
Yeah, exactly.
There.
Like in Nanyang, right? Like my higher Chinese was always A1. And
Yeah.
like the bilingual classes, like the cultural, I don't know, the BSB classes,
Yeah.
they were like, I didn't understand anything, but I still got an A. So like,
Yeah.
it was
So
like,
it was very unexpected when you like first
Yeah.
failed. Which is like a common experience for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
yeah, and like so basically I was just like trying to process it, and like after a while I was just like, okay, there's not much difference between me and them except that my Chinese is really bad like compared to them. So like
Yeah.
I just like studied more than they did. Yeah.
Oh,
and like,
and you, like,
just
caught
like
up.
yeah, like find like what works for me, which is not like understanding Chinese, but I was like looking through like all the model essays, and then like I kind of picked up like Chinese or like how to like answer like the essays.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
So like I think like in general, like if you face imposter syndrome in JC or like anywhere you are, like just know that like you're in a group of very smart people,
Yeah.
like very talented smart people,
Yeah.
and like the fact that you already got into JC or like whatever school you're in, it's like it means that you have like the same capabilities as them. It's just that you're not like maybe performing as well as them right now.
And it could be like circumstantial because like different
yeah,
people learn
yeah.
in different ways. And I think a good way to frame it is that like if you're not doing well and all your peers are, it's not because you're less talented
Yeah,
or
yeah.
less worthy or anything, but more because of like maybe environmental. Like you just don't learn the same way they do. And when you do find how you can study, like your grades will increase,
Yeah.
improve. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you just need to know that like grades is not like a reflection of your self-worth. It's just like one part of like what you have to go through. And I think like Singapore's like very competitive and like very like focused on academics. But actually that's not the end of the day. Like after A-levels, after uni, like no one's gonna look at your grades.
So I think like just now we were mentioning, study tips on how to be effective when you study and stuff. But I think that maybe towards A levels, like your game plan on like how you should study kind of changes because you need to do TYS and not just like tutorials. And like the school syllabus stops around August.
Yeah.
Around August. So how you study from August onwards will kind of be different because you're not keeping up anymore. Do you want to like talk about it?
Okay, I'll say like firstly like do like all the school's prelim papers because I think like they're usually harder than your A-level paper. So like I'll do like finish all those first, and then like much nearer to the A-levels, then I'll finish all the TYS. So like this is because like first like you do the harder papers first, so like you really like understand the concepts and like how to answer, and then like you do your TYS, so like you're familiar with like how Cambridge tests you, then you can like answer those questions.
Is there a difference between like prelim papers and TYS in your opinion?
I think that is, but I can't really pinpoint. Okay, for for math, like Hwa Chong one, it's like insanely
insanely different. It's very
Yeah.
different. The standard is very
So
different.
like if you're able to like you do all your Hwa Chong math papers and like you're already getting an A, then like
when you transfer it
yeah,
over.
it's so easy.
Yeah, TYS becomes like way easier.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah.
And like yeah.
Okay, I see.
Another thing is like eat well and try to stay healthy, exercise if you can. I don't know, but
Like general like wellness tips. Yeah.
so like in case you like you accidentally fall sick
During
A
A-levels. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
you're done. You're
Yeah.
done. For like the three of us, we didn't have O-levels and stuff. So A-levels was like our biggest exam since PSLE. And like it was like hella nerve-wracking. Do you want to talk about your experience like taking such a major exam? Like were you actually stressed? Because I mean a lot of my friends, there was like prelims, blocks, and like there were so many things that by the time you reached A-levels, you're like,
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
You're done.
yeah, like you're done already.
Okay, I think like in general I wasn't like super stressed because like I was just like very focused on trying to improve my GPA. My GPA is really big. Yeah, I think I was like really only very, very stressed like the day before my GP paper and the day before my China studies paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like pretty confident for like the rest.
Because you felt like super prepared and stuff. Yeah. So like prep more so you feel less nervous.
Yeah.
Tips. Okay, so I know you took history, like you mentioned before, and I want to know like what was your experience in history like? Like, you know, like do you have any tips? What was the experience like?
Okay, so I did history camp. I was very excited going in, and then I realized it was so hard. Like it's basically like uni level camp, and like it made you like visualize all these like structures, and I couldn't visualize it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I dropped out after a while.
Yeah.
But I think it was like a very good experience. I mean, I went in mainly because I wanted to see whether I wanted to do like camp in uni. So I was like, oh, okay, I don't. Yeah, but like I think it's a good experience. If you can get into history camp, definitely try it because like you can drop out anyway.
Yeah.
But I kind of regret dropping out because I heard like the history camp A level for our year was pretty easy.
Oh no.
But it's okay.
It's okay. Live, laugh, love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any experience with like CIP projects, and are they like do you think that they are necessary or like worth it?
I don't actually. Is this community involvement program? I think.
Okay.
I call it SL, service learning.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like you're volunteering like outside. So yeah, I was in project Recordari. I don't know how to pronounce it actually, but it was basically a project about like raising awareness about people with dementia.
And it's done through school, right?
Yeah. You do like in school, and like you find your own group mates, and then like I don't think like they're exactly necessary because like you can volunteer outside too. But I think if you don't have any leadership in your CCA, I think you should definitely like try to find leadership in like CIP or like SL projects because like unis really look at leadership for some reason. Yeah. My experience is that I mean overall it was okay. Like I think my group mates and I had like very like different working styles, so it was like a bit hard to work with them because like they do work at night and I sleep at night.
Yeah.
Or like I had like training when they like so like I think firstly like trying to find like group mates with like similar work styles is very important. And actually like finding a course you're very passionate about or like you can do for like 2 years. Keeping track of your CIP hours to make sure they actually hit the mark because I was lacking for 2 hours. Like I lacked 2 hours, so I couldn't get the award.
Oh shit.
But like it's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Like back to your second point, you said find a course that you're actually passionate about. And like why I think like that would be really important because you in JC you already have so much things, right? And you definitely want like a course that you're passionate about so it gives you more energy and rather than like drains your energy. Yeah.
Facts. If you can't find like an existing one, you can make one yourself.
Oh yeah. So it's like pretty chill.
You can do it actually.
We have come to the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.